All right, so we are on the top of page 6, and we are going to now hear about these suitors who are coming in. Now came the suitors, young bloods, trooping in to their own seats on thrones or easy chairs. Attendants poured water over their fingers while the maids piled baskets full of brown loaves near at hand, and houseboys brimmed the bowls with wine. Now they laid hands upon the ready feast and thought of nothing more. Not till desire for food and drink had left them were they mindful of dance and song, that are the grace of feasting. A herald gave a sharp shapely cithern harp to Phemius, whom they compelled to sing, and what a storm he plucked upon the strings for prelude! High and clear the song arose. Telemachus now spoke to gray-eyed Athena, his head bent close, so no one else might hear. So the suitors are all eating their food, and Telemachus basically takes this time when they're distracted, their tummies are full, they're listening to the song, and he tells a sob story to Athena. He's going to ask where she's from, and Lord Laertes is introduced. That is Odysseus's father. Laertes, Odysseus's father. And Athena does assure Telemachus that his father's not dead in this part. So Telemachus now spoke to gray-eyed Athena, his head bent close, so no one else might hear. Dear guest, will this offend you if I speak? It is easy for these men to like these things, harping and song. They have an easy life, scot-free, eating the livestock of another, a man whose bones are rotting somewhere now, white in the rain on dark earth where they lie, or tumbling in the groundswell of the sea. So both of those descriptions are basically saying, yeah, my dad's dead. His bones are either on land or in the sea. This is where she reassures him. If he returned, if these men ever saw him, faster legs they'd pray for, to a man, and not more wealth in handsome robes or gold. They'd run if they saw my dad coming. But he is lost. He came to grief and perished, and there's no help for us, and someone's hoping he still may come. That sun has long gone down. But tell me now, and put it for me clearly, who are you? Where do you come from? Where's your home and family? What kind of ship is yours, and what course brought you here? Who are your sailors? I don't suppose you walked here on the sea. Actually, she did. Remember her sandals? Another thing, this too I ought to know. Is Ithaca new to you, or were you ever a guest here in the old days? Far and near friends knew this house, for he whose name it was had much acquaintance in the world. To this, the gray-eyed goddess answered, As you ask, I can account most clearly for myself. Mentes I'm called, son of the veteran Anchialus. I rule seafaring Taphos. I came by ship with a ship's company, sailing the wine-dark sea for ports of call on alien shores, to Temese for copper, bringing bright bars of iron in exchange. My ship is moored on a wild strip of coast in Raythron Bight, under the wooded mountain. Years back, my family and yours were friends, as Lord Laertes knows. Ask when you see him. So she's assumed the identity of Mentes, who was a real friend of Laertes, and she makes up this story of what she's been doing and why she shows up on Ithaca. I hear the old man, meaning Laertes, comes to town no longer, stays up country ailing, with only one old woman to prepare his meat and drink, when pain and stiffness take him in the legs from working on his terrace plot, his vineyard. As for my sailing here, the tale was that your father had come home, therefore I came. I see the gods delay him, but never in this world is Odysseus dead, only detained somewhere on the wide sea upon some island with wild islanders. Savages they must be to hold him captive. Kind of a diss on poor Calypso. Well, I will forecast for you as the gods put the strong feeling in me. I see it all, and I'm no prophet, no adept in bird signs. He will not now be long away from Ithaca, his father's dear land. Though he be in chains, he'll scheme a way to come. He can do anything. But tell me this now, make it clear to me. You must be by your looks Odysseus's boy. The way your head is shaped, the fine eyes. Yes, how like him. We took meals like this together many a time before he sailed for Troy with all the lords of Argos in the ships. I have not seen him since, nor has he seen me. And thoughtfully Telemachus replied, Friend, let me put it in the plainest way. My mother says I am his son. I know not, surely. Who has known his own engendering? I wish at least I had some happy man as father, growing old in his house. But unknown death and silence are the fate of him that, since you ask, they call my father. Okay, Telemachus is going through a little identity crisis here. He's saying, I don't know if I'm really Odysseus's son. My mom says I am, but who am I? And in a little bit, he's going to go on to say, if I am his son, why do these suitors mock me? They should have more respect for me being Odysseus's son. Then gray-eyed Athena said, the gods decreed no lack of honor in this generation, such as the son Penelope bore in you. But tell me now and make this clear to me, what gathering? What feast is this? Why here? A wedding? Revel? At the expense of all? Not that, I think. How arrogant they seem, these gluttons, making free here in your house. A sensible man would blush to be among them. So basically, she's kind of called out the suitors, that they're obnoxious, they're arrogant, they're jerks. Anyone who has any decency is not going to take advantage of somebody being gone and eat the family out of house and home. To this, Telemachus answered, Friend, now that you ask about these matters, our house was always princely, a great house, as long as he of whom we speak remained here. But evil days the gods have brought upon it, making him vanish, as they have so strangely. Were his death known, I could not feel such pain. If he had died of wounds in Trojan country or in the arms of friends after the war, they would have made a tomb for him, the Achaeans, and I should have all honor as his son. Basically saying it would have been better if he had just died and we knew he died and we could bury him and just get on with our lives. Instead, the whirlwinds got him, and no glory. He's gone, no sign, no word of him. And I inherit trouble and tears, and not for him alone. The gods have laid such other burdens on me, for now the lords of the islands, Dulichion and Same, wooded Zakynthos, and rocky Ithaca's young lords as well, are here courting my mother, and they use our house as if it were a house to plunder. So from the surrounding islands, these guys have come. Spurn them she dare not, though she hates that marriage, nor can she bring herself to choose among them. Meanwhile, they eat their way through all we have, and when they will, they can demolish me. So basically, these suitors pick on me. My mom can't really turn them away. That would be rude. That wouldn't be following Greek tradition. But she doesn't want to choose any of them to marry because she really is staying faithful to Odysseus. Pallas Athena was disturbed and said, bitterly you need Odysseus then. High time he came back to engage these upstarts. I wish we saw him standing helmeted there in the doorway, holding shield and spear, looking the way he did when I first knew him. That was at our house, where he drank and feasted after he left Ephyra, homeward bound from a visit to the son of Mermerus Ilos. He took his fast ship down the gulf that time for a fatal drug to dip his arrows in and poison the bronze points, but young Ilos turned him away, fearing the god's wrath. My father gave it, for he loved him well. I wish these men could meet the man of those days. They'd know their fortune quickly, a cold bed. Aye, but it lies upon the god's great knees whether he can return and force a reckoning in his own house or not. So she's telling about a time when Odysseus had sought a poison to dip his arrows in, and he was told that he really couldn't do that because the gods might get angry with him for doing that. And she's basically reminiscing and saying, if he would return, all these suitors would know a cold bed. In other words, they died. Then Athena is going to go on and tell Telemachus who to see after kicking out the suitors, and later he can plot to kill the suitors. So here's her advice, and we'll save it for the next video.